Welcome to the Heart of Racing podcast, mate, alongside our good mates at Ladbrokes, Neil Breen and Will Friedman with you as always. How are you, Will? How was your week?
It was all right. It was good racing. I missed a couple. We've had 3 placings on Saturday, so it's a bit disappointing.
3 placings in town is pretty
know,
good, but you want to win.
Yeah, there's a big difference between running second. There's not a big difference between running second or third. There's a big difference between running second and first, you know.
Massive difference.
Prize money's big.
I know. Well,
anyway.
I've got a small share in a maiden in Queensland trained by Chris Maher, and it's run second 3 times in its last 4 starts in Doomben midweek maidens.
Well,
Keeps getting knocked off by these decent things coming up from Sydney and Melbourne that go bang in their maiden midweek and then settle into Queensland racing.
It's frustrating though. So like we had Coast Watch up in Queensland.
It ran well.
Ran really well. Based on his rating, and ratings are theoretical, they're not gospel. But if he ran the same race in the Stradbroke as he did in the Wayne Wilson, he'd have run third in the Stradbroke, but he couldn't get in, you know. So it's like sliding doors moment, you know. So anyway, we're gonna take him away and probably aim him up at the Epsom. So we'll see how we go in 6 months' time.
Epsom handicap,
3 months'
rightio.
time.
Well, talking about the Stradbroke, I'm taking over the Pineapple this week, and I'm giving it to Vlad Jurek for missing the start on Antino in the Stradbroke. When it's your favourite race of the year, being a Queenslander, and I love the Stradbroke handicap, and, you know, you've picked your choice, you picked your horse, you've gone for the local horse, and after 10 metres, it's all over. Do you know how deflating that is, Will Friedman?
You give so many concessions to this horse. Like, it's never Antino's fault. It's always his fault or their fault. Or it's
well, it has to be someone. It didn't jump.
Oh, Christ. If I never hear the word Antino again, I'll be thrilled.
And don't start me on Huetor trying to make up ground on the fence.
Well, the winner came from the fence, though.
Oh, turn it up. I don't care. My horse didn't come up the fence. That is what I'm giving the Pineapple to this week, and I'm leaving you out of it.
Yeah, that's all right. I didn't really find. I actually thought, if anything, I thought you had to give a lot of credit to Zach Lloyd's ride.
Oh, it was a great ride.
Like that's one of the great.
It was a great ride.
That might go down as one of his top 5 rides in his career.
I got to say, I don't love a horse winning a big Group 1 like that when it's only its second win. I don't love that.
It's hard to find. As a punter, it's hard to find. But, like, I was actually having this conversation with another trainer this morning. The ballsy play wasn't running Steffi Magnetica in the Stradbroke. The ballsy play was running Steffi Magnetica in the Kingsford Smith. That was the brilliance, because you don't run don't run her in the Kingsford Smith. You do not run her in the Stradbroke. So, like, I don't care if you win a benchmark 78, whatever. You're not going to back it. Your rating won't be high enough to get into the Stradbroke. You know, it was a brilliant move by Björn, who wasn't there. He was celebrating
a wedding.
Rachel's wedding. But
Rachel King's wedding in the UK. Have you got a Sayonara this week? I'm going to Sayonara one.
A little hesitant on the short price favourite in the benchmark 78,000 in Dipsy Doodle.
Yeah, that's at Randwick on Saturday?
Yeah, it's in I think it's race 6 or race 7. James McDonald's on board, so it's a ballsy play, but I think $2.25 is just a wee bit short.
Okay, so you're.
But I'm not like it's not like
you're not totally sayonaraing it. You're just saying be very wary about a $2.20 favourite.
First up, 1,000 metres. I know they can do it first up. They're fresh legs, but I think winter racing in Sydney is going to have some form that carries through to the spring and further. I think the winter racing this year is pretty strong.
Rightio. Well, I'm going to sayonara straight Asa, which is running in the Civic Stakes.
Yeah, he's been a bit...
For old Ed.
It's been hard to catch, hasn't he?
And just goes around and around there trying to pick up something, and I just sort of look at him and go...
We like Ed, though.
We like Ed. We love Ed.
But straight Asa, you're having a spell.
Yeah, I just think...
You're in the subs at the moment.
The So Simple from last weekend, it was broadsiding.
Well, obviously.
We both knew it was going to win. We said it on the show.
Was that good?
And how good is broadsiding? I think it should be 2-year-old of the year. It's won 2 Group 1s. It's won a Group 2 or 2. It's unbelievable effort, great training effort.
I hear from some murmurs from the Godolphin team that it's not even their best 2-year-old.
So you think there's something else that hasn't really shown up yet?
Yeah.
And have a better
Scary,
3-year-old.
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a pretty good horse.
It's a good horse and looks like it's on a Caulfield Guineas Cox Plate path. It's the natural path for it.
100%. Like the 3-year-olds in the Cox Plate. Like I actually heard some commentary where people like they shouldn't be allowed to run. I'm like, that's the greatest part of the Cox Plate is 3-year-olds at weight for age do extremely
49
well.
kilos and go whack.
It's unbelievable. So like, yes, that was so simple. I'm
still recovering from Mahogany getting beaten by Octagonal when Octagonal was 3 in the Cox Plate. I'm still recovering from that.
I have a highly recommended So Simple that could have been the absolute So Simple was if Bella Nipotina got up in the Stradbroke. Like,
I know.
Was so well weighted, best horse in the race, clearly. Ran enormous, just got beaten by barrier 21. But it's hard to, I have to say, it's hard to say that because Zach was in barrier. They ran from Zach ended up running from 16, I think Bella Nipotina 17 and someone else in 18.
Antino, the one that didn't jump. What about it's going to stay up, Bella Nipotina, for the Tats Tiara next week?
It's got to be pretty good chance. But so might Steffi Magnetica.
Yeah, it might go around again. Wait for age, though.
Hard to. There's a few So Simples out of the weekend. I think it was a little bit more straightforward than other weekends. I had a good weekend. I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was going
on the Rex
okay.
Hunt.
I was going okay until I wasn't. Have you heard that story before from a punter?
Well, I'm always going well until I up the bets. Then I'm in trouble.
Oh, there's two things we want to talk about in Gates Fly today. Asfura for Australia wins at Royal Ascot. It was a great win. It was the old King Stan Stakes. It's the King Charles Stakes now. It's a 1,000-metre race on the first day of the Ascot Carnival. And everyone was going, we only sent one horse over. Well, not we sent, but only one horse went from Australia, and it's not the pick of the crop and everything. Asfura was in unbelievably good form in Melbourne last spring. Didn't win a Group 1, but has gone over there and just done the business. The reason I want to raise it is because the horses we've sent, our stocks have been a bit low in the last few years. Nature Strip went over there. I think it was 2021 and went crash, bang, wallop and was a fantastic
Merchant
win.
Navy wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, Navy.
I think they took over the astrologist last year, didn't they?
Yeah, so we haven't. And I just think Asfura winning might draw a few more horses back.
I think you're right. But I love the fact that it just... I gave out a sly little dagger to the Poms. And look, my mother's English, not even Australian, but they cannot keep the same jab going. Oh, you guys are such a poor racing jurisdiction. We send out our second raters and they go and win the Melbourne Cup. Well, I wouldn't exactly call Asfura at the top of the list of our sprinters.
No, she's not. She wouldn't probably get in the Everest.
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
So, and they send out their best sprinters here in the Everest. Bang, last, bang, second last, bang, last. It's like
we got better sprinters, they got better stayers.
And I'm totally okay with that. But just stop with the high horsing of we are such a better jurisdiction than you. Well, if we send over 15 of our sprinters, you'll be running 16th. Like, we're that much better than you in the sprinting crops.
Way better. And the interesting thing is they come out here and they win those sort of weight for age races and stuff like that. The problem for us with our sprinters going over there and knocking them over and putting them in their place is we have multi-million-dollar prize money for sprinters in Australia.
Why would you send an Everest contender over to then have to back them up in October?
Because the prize money's not great over there.
No.
It's not great.
The
horse prices are high and the prize money's poor.
To be fair, the only thing that this is a question for the purists. The thing about European racing is they produce stallions out of middle distance horses. Our sprinters go to stud very early here. And our sprinting crop, they're never colts. They're always geldings over there. So It's like, it's not as highly credentialed to go over to Ascot to get that win as a stallion. And look, we sent over Merchant Navy and he came back and he hasn't set the world on fire as a stallion just yet. Like, I got a couple of them that go nicely, but it doesn't seem to be a huge tick to the stallion credentials for a stallion to go over there. So they're just not going to do it.
Yeah, and it's just an interesting thing. I think the glamour of it gets horses there. Hey, let's move on to Gil McLaughlin is going to be the new boss of Tabcorp, the new CEO. And Gil was famous for being the 10-year CEO of the AFL after being 10 years there previously. He was the chief operating officer. And it's an interesting job for him. People thought he was going to be the chairman of Racing Victoria. Instead, he's going to be the CEO of Tabcorp. He's had a combative relationship with Peter V'landys because V'landys ran the NRL. He ran the AFL. There was always competition between them. Racing New South Wales, Tabcorp are very close associations, although in recent times they're not so close. We got Racing New South Wales is suing Tabcorp in the federal court, saying that Tabcorp didn't properly promote the Kosciuszko primarily and the Everest to a lesser extent. So there's these dramas between the two organisations.
I think it'll get ironed out. I think that'll get ironed out. I think the combative nature that is perceived between Peter and Gil was very much needed when you're going NRL versus AFL, direct competitors. In the end, the Tab and Racing New South Wales profit more if they work harmoniously.
They've got to work hand in hand.
And I don't think Peter and Gil are so egotistical to think that is not an aligned goal.
And they won't. And when they were having their sparring matches, there was always a bit of a G-up nature to it. This is what I know about Gil, and I've had a bit to do with him in his role as boss of the AFL. He's the ultimate statesman. He is very much a diplomat. He's very much in command of a room. He doesn't want to dominate a room, but he'll know everyone in the room. He'll know who people are. He'll look you in the eye. He'll shake your hand. He'll know where you fit into the world.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be a very good CEO, very calm hand. He's a calm person. He's never flustered. He's always on top of his information. So I think Gil McLaughlin is a good appointment for
I think it was a big loss for Racing Victoria not to get him as chairman. I think that's a big loss for them because he was the one that could have steered some of the ship and taken control. The people they're talking about now, they may be very well credentialed to move into Racing Victoria, but they just did not have they do not have the presence of Gil. Gil has an aura.
Has a real presence, yeah.
And he sits in a room and you want to listen to him. You want to hear what he's got to say. You perceive everything as he says, and most of the time it is as very insightful. And I think that was a loss for Racing Victoria. I think him going into the Tab is a big gain to the just general industry. So I think everyone's going to value, Gil's influence. And people say, oh, well, he's got no history in wagering, all that. He'll pick that up. He'll employ people that do. He'll surround
himself with good people. He's a CEO.
That's right. You don't need to be a wagering expert to be the CEO of that company. He's just a very good CEO, very good businessman. So
and he'll steer
I'm excited.
Really well.
I'm really excited.
Hey, mate, we haven't had a proper Ladbrokes Racing Club update lately.
No.
But I've got some news for you because the Racing Club had its most significant win to date, getting the money in the $120,000 three-year-old Class 3 handicap, defeating Shehab. It won the race 3 at Rose Hill last Saturday.
No,
the Ladbrokes.
I think that horse will progress through the grades now, but I think the Racing Club's has quite a presence.
I think it's a ripping thing to be involved in. Just join.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't cost you anything to join. No. I think it's if I didn't have my own stable that I had to worry about, I'd be like, I'm getting some intel that I wouldn't get elsewhere.
It's intel.
And they're not asking for anything up front. You just participate, enjoy the thrill. It's like being part of a team, but with racing. So I think racing needs more of this, and I think Ladbrokes, the Racing Club, are doing a great job.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is the Heart of Racing, made alongside our mates at Ladbrokes. We're going to give you the big bets for this weekend's racing. The Ipswich, Flemington and Randwick on Saturday. But first, let's get a weekend update from Ladbrokes spokesman Tom Hackett.
The Queensland Winter Racing Carnival heads to Ipswich for an always colourful and exciting Ipswich Cup Day. And the Ipswich Cup this year is a very, very competitive betting affair. And there's a lot of chances, according to the market with Ladbrokes. The favourite is Luncey. Certainly doesn't win out of turn, this horse, but does look well placed here. drawn ideally in barrier 4. Has been racing well in probably tougher races than this. He gets his chance to return to winning form. It's been a little bit of early money for Regal Lion. He's been $5 into $4.60. Is going to need a little bit of luck in running from barrier 11, but he's certainly right in the race. June 45's been solid, $11 into $9. Brookhaven, very solid as well at $9. I think the value runner here, though, the horse I think can be a big improver from his first up run is Zoom On. I think he'll go forward from barrier 8 with Regan Bayless in the paddock, in the saddle. He ran really well last start in the Lord Mayor's Cup, just sort of ran out of puff late. I think he'll really improve on that performance, and if he does that, he'll be right there in the mix. Another horse I think can run well that punters have backed is Warp Speed. Has been $41 into $18. He's the Ladbrokes market mover and a horse that Ladbrokes punters are getting around. The other feature race of the day is the Eyeliner Stakes, and what it goes is the clear favourite. It's $2.45 in the Ladbrokes market. It looks like it's going to be the key anchor for a lot of multis and all-ups this afternoon. So that's Ipswich Cup Day coming this Saturday. Enjoy another big day of racing, boys, and it's back to you in the studio.
Take on the fun with Ladbrokes. Download the Ladbrokes app today for all your favourite racing features like yard comments, black book, and more. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. This is the Heart of Racing, mate, alongside our mates at Ladbrokes. And Will, the Ipswich Cup, just to fill you in on a couple of things here, right? All towns and big cities across Australia, they love their Cup Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, not so much in, Brisbane and that these days. They've got different races. But, people love their Nowra Cup or whatever. The people of Ipswich love the Ipswich Cup so much.
Bloody ippy.
It is a spectacle to go there.
My word.
And it's like...
I think that's the greatest term to call it. A spectacle.
It's like Chatham House rules, right? What happens at the Ipswich Cup stays at the Ipswich
Cup.
There have been that many indiscretions. Guys have driven cop cars down the home straight after the last. There's normally a nude race down the straight after the last. Last year they stole the big blow-up 4X doll thing, which was like the size of a blimp. Someone stole it. What do you do when you walk past the cops? Hey, what are you taking that blimp for? Because we just are.
No, what about when someone finds it out the back of their house? The cops are like, That's what we're looking for. That's it. And they go, I swear it was here when I bought the place.
You got no idea.
It is. You will never see more moulets in your life than at the Ipswich Cup. One of the trainers was saying I was going there, and they're like, "Do you think I need a jacket?" I'm like, if you wear a button shirt and a tie, you'll be lengths ahead of the dress code.
Anyway, so if you're watching the races on Saturday, just listen to the noise of the crowd. They roar when the gates open in the 2,150-metre Ipswich Cup like it's the Melbourne Cup.
I think there's only one marquee in the whole place that allows glassware because it's that all up. Like it is a spectacle, that is for sure.
It's really, really good fun. The Ipswich Cup is a listed race over 2,150 metres. We've got Luncey's is the favourite at $3.70. Regal Lion is at $4.60. Brookhaven $8.50. Zoom On at 10. King Frankel 10. June 45 is at $9. How could you have a tip in this race? Like, one of them will win. That's all I know. You know what I mean?
Look, Luncey's on its day is a decent horse. It's just hard to catch. It goes round. It's consistent. 370. I mean, it's an open affair. I think it'll drift.
As good as any other in the race.
Zoom On. King Frankel will be thereabouts.
I've been waiting for Regal Lion to fire.
I'm a no bet on this race.
You going to watch the crowd instead?
Yeah. Just watch the infield. Last time I went there, I saw cops chasing people out of the stadium. I went there. I went there for the last race. I was there all day. And I actually I've never been a people watcher, but I was just there just like, what is going on in the infield there? Holy
I cannot emphasise enough what a wild day Ipswich Cup Day is.
Oh, goodness.
The Gay Waterhouse Classic's over 1,200 metres. It's listed for fillies and mares. Now, Tassie was the early favourite, but it's already scratched, so forget it. Midnight in Tokyo is now the favourite, $5.50. Party for 2 is at 6. Bazik is at 9. Typhoon Tavi, $7.50. Wallen by $8.50. Black on Beauty, 10. Junkira's at 13, Eagle Nest 15, Sneaky Page 19. All I know is at about the 300, there will be a wall of horses, and you'll think your horse has a chance of winning. It's that kind of race.
This is an important race for a lot of people. Like it's probably a lower level listed race.
But you can get black type.
But you can get black type and be worth quite a bit of money. Look, I have this real sneaky suspicion that Wollombi is going to run a bit of a cheeky race. It's a horse that's sort of been a bit costly for me, but I just feel like it owes me a bit. Wollombi, Midnight in Tokyo, has been based up there for a while for Annabelle Neesham. Party for Two. I mean, I don't
mind Party for Two. I don't mind Typhoon Tavi.
Yep.
It's the sort of race.
We've pretty much chosen all of them. So good luck.
Yeah, it's like it's that sort of race, the Gay Waterhouse Classic. It's frantic.
But I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I will take Wollombi.
Rightio, Wollombi. I'll take Typhoon Tavi. The Eyeliner Stakes is listed over 1,350 metres. What He Goes comes up as a short price favourite here at $2.45. Fancify's at $6. Jigsaw $5.50. Look, there's Lost in Transit 11. Blazer Trail 12. They're all double figures apart from those three. What He Goes, Fancify and Jigsaw. Is it a race in three? I think the favourite's hard to beat.
I've actually had Fancify staying with me for Michael Hickmott.
Yeah. Nice horse.
Lovely horse. And worked super on Tuesday.
And it's gone up on the float.
We'll go tonight. I think it'll run a good race. I mean, I think it needs to.
That's good inside info.
But What It Goes form has backed up with Coastwatch. That's Coastwatch form. So I'm pretty well across this race, but I think it's a race in two. I think Fancify is suited by Ipswich because it will go forward from the wide barrier. And funny thing,
At Ipswich, if you get caught having to swing wide on the turn, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You got to wait till they straighten, then go wide.
Funny enough, that race, I just had a look. It's over the 1350. I saw the 1350. I said, maybe it's sticky to draw a wide gate. 3 of the last 4 have drawn wide. They've just gone forward. And Fancify's in that mould. So I'm happy to risk... Well, I'm happy to take Fancify each way based on its work, for sure.
Balance on the home turn at Ipswich is vital.
100%.
Vital. So at the 200, it could be a race in two at Ipswich, but there can always be one horse jumps out of the ground, and it'll be the horse that was very balanced on the home turn.
But I always feel like they're always not far away, the back markers, but they never quite catch the front markers at Ipswich. So I would be taking horses on speed.
Let's go to Sydney at Randwick. The best race is the Civic Stakes.
Not a bad race, this.
It's a listed race over 1,400 metres. Look, Tamerlane's $4.60 for J-Mac. J-Mac's got a full book of rides at Randwick on Saturday, all 10 races.
He'd be hungry for some...
He wants some Sydney winners because he wants to win that premiership.
Yeah.
So he rode 4 at Eagle Farm last Saturday. Estadio Mestalia, $6. Straight Ace is $7.50. Diamond Diesel, $9. Excellatus, $10. Flying Crazy, $13.
Flying Crazy was very good last start.
Well, I've already potted Straight Ace, so
yeah.
Rule it out.
I know who you're jumping on. You'll be on the Tamerlane.
I think I'm going to be on the J-Mac train on Saturday.
I think you follow that, you'll be okay.
He's riding a lot of good horses for Godolphin on Saturday.
Yeah. I don't think Diamond Diesel is going to get the same ride it got last time. It was ridden a treat by the kid. I think it was Barrett, was it? So
I just got to get the fields out here. You keep talking. I've got to get the fields out because there's a horse that for Godolphin that's having its second start and it's being ridden by J-Mac on Saturday that in its first start at Kembla looked like Farlap.
I know it. It's got a strange name. We have one in it. It's in the 3-year-old and 4-year-old 1,300. It won at Kembla by an acre. But I like...
Kerguelen. It's called Kerguelen. It's a $2 favourite after one start from barrier 13.
I'll take you on there. I like the Snowden runner in that race, which will be second favourite.
Needs Some Luck.
Needs Some Luck.
$4.20.
I will take you on. I think Needs Some Luck is a very... And it'll be my time to unload is Needs Some Luck. So.
People just go back and watch Kerguelen win
But it was very good. But it's got to back it up. It's got to back it up.
And as the Friedman family famously says for many years, the hardest race to win for any horse is its next start after a maiden.
Always. It's very difficult. This is a very big rise in grade.
Oh, Kembla maiden into a benchmark 72.
So I like Estadio Stalia here. I think
the Civic Stakes.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Rightio. Melbourne, look, there's some open handicap races. There's some benchmark races at Flemington on Saturday. I went through and picked one out. I picked out the Brian Beattie Quality. It's a 2,000-metre race for 3-year-olds. I like watching the 3-year-olds go over a distance.
I don't know if I'll watch a race in Melbourne this week.
Yeah, it's benchmark and open company racing. But in this race, Steel runs $4.60. Lady in Pink's actually the favourite at $4.40. Aztec stayed at $7. Eliud's an interesting runner from New Zealand, $6.50. Burlington Gate $8.50. Zambezi Khan $10. I put this race in because I wanted to be able to tip Aztec State.
I'll give the greatest tip for Saturday.
Don't bet at Flemington.
Grab all your mates, get a schooner glass, all put $50 in, have as much fun as you want, and just pick whatever name you like at the races this week. Like, it is such a bloody lottery.
This is one of those classic winter Saturdays.
You know who ruined one of my great lines were the owners of Be Good to Your Mother. That was my favourite response when people asked for a tip, Be Good to Your Mother. And they ruined it. So,
because they called a horse Be Good to Your Mother.
Yeah, they shouldn't have let it through.
Friedman tipped that thing and ran 5th. Have you got any stable mail for the Friedmans? It's for Ladbroke communities. Have you ever wanted to connect, banter, or share tips with a group of diehard racing punters? Well, it's time to check out Communities. It's available in the Ladbrokes app. What are you giving Ladbrokes Communities this week?
We're going to Royal Goulburn on Friday.
Friday, Goulburn. Right, I'm writing this down. Friday. Geez, the Friedman family love a Goulburn coup.
Why not? Race 6 or race 7, Take Me to Church.
Take Me to Church.
We'll be going back from a wide barrier. You should get a decent price, unless the people at Ladbrokes aren't being overly friendly to our glorious listeners.
Our Ladbrokes community?
Yes. But we'll be coming home like a steam train, Mike.
Okay, Take Me to Church. We'll be praying to God at the 300, but then it's going to start just making ground.
At the 300, you'll be
we'll
like,
be in the queue.
That bloody
Friedman
Egypt
has got nothing.
Has got nothing, and then at the 100, you go. It's going to be like the Kramer episode where it's like his mother was a mother.
Oh yeah,
rips up the ticket, and then
his father was a mother. His mother was a mother. His mother's
Bang!
mother. His mother's mother was a mother. I'm unloading on Aztec State. I'm going to back Aztec State at Flemington on Saturday.
I told you I need some luck, so I am going to take Need Some Luck.
Need some luck to knock off this Kerguelen thing, this big hot pot.
Yes, please.
So quite often when you get a hot pot like that that's won 7, 8, 9 lengths on debut, comes to
it's
town.
My Sayonara. There you go.
You get a decent price on the second favourite.
Yeah, it's like it was a very good run.
You got a Sayonara this thing.
100%.
It's actually got a bad barrier, this Kerguelen.
Yeah, it's the widest barrier. It'll come in one. Mine's coming out. So.
You got one in the race you're scratching because you wouldn't take on the Godolphin hot pot. Good on you, Will Freeman. See you next week.
See ya.